Focus. We winning together. Good mood Monday.
And you may feel like it's over and that you have.
I be going through it, y'all, but I choose to have a good Monday on purpose. Good mood Monday. Welcome to another episode of Win with MsLalexis. Today I have a special guest, recording gospel artist Keeson. Yes, that's his song, Get Up. It's motivating. Check it out. He is everywhere. As you can see, he is a producer. He is a amazing man of God, and he is living his life on purpose. And today he's here with us to inspire us. So join the conversation. Good afternoon, good evening. Welcome to Win with MsLalexis. As I shared with you before, I was going to be coming to you live. And today I have a special guest, as you saw in the beginning. This man right here, he has been living his purpose since 5, okay? I don't even know what that life is like, but I wanted to bring him here personally. As you saw in the beginning, I mean, he's just done a lot of amazing things. And I want him to express to us, to encourage us to live our life on purpose, and that we can do it regardless of where we come from, regardless of how we start, regardless of how we get discouraged. So today I want to welcome Keeson, and you can find him. I want y'all to know, because once he started talking, y'all gonna be like, where can I find him? And you can find him on Instagram at IM_Keeson. And you can find him on Facebook, Keeson. And then he's also on Linktree, because when I tell you he's a busy man, and I'm blessed that he had time to visit me today. Thank you, sir.
You're welcome.
Yes, I appreciate it. But yeah, I say all that, and not to delay, I want to ask you, what is your... What was your why? Like, how... Actually, no, I'm going to start with, what was your how? Like, how did you know that media, music, that was your thing? Like, how did you know?
Well, first of all, hello everybody. Thank you so much, Alexis, for having me. But how did I know? I mean, I've been singing my whole life, like you said. And I think at an early age, I knew I wanted to do something within media. Right. I just didn't know what aspect that was. I mean, you said I knew my purpose at 5. Kinda. I mean, sure, we think, like, okay, I want to do this. You ask kids, oh, I want to be a firefighter. I want to be an astronaut. Exactly. I always wanted to be a singer, and I knew I always wanted to work in media. Right. However, I would say just my mom, and like, she pushed me to always do what I want to do. And then, singing in church. That encouragement there, and then those early experiences, just kind of guided me in my adult life as to okay, I can actually make money from this. This is something that can be done tangible. So I guess I just kind of knew. I mean, I kind of knew.
Yeah, that's a blessing when you mention family, because sometimes we speak on family being in the way, but it sounds like you were blessed and favored to actually have your family support your dream. So I shared that to say, don't always cut your family out, because sometimes they are necessary and a part of your growth. Like, they really can help you build who you really are. So that's definitely a blessing. So far as why did you get into your purpose? Like once you realized, because I know at 14, 15, you had some things with Dave Matthews. Like, you was starting this thing off early, y'all. Yeah. If y'all want to talk to him, he got some tips. And I want us to get real. Like, I know there were times that it was very discouraging, where you're like, should I go get me a 9 to 5 like everybody else around me? Or should I keep fighting for my purpose?
So what was your question?
Oh, I'm sorry. That's okay. I get excited.
I get what you're saying.
I mean, my question was more of your why. Like, why did you keep going when it got hard?
Well, I wanted to eat. Listen, Bible says a man don't work, he shall not eat. However, no. It was just the hunger and knowing that I wanted to be somebody or something in life.
Right.
I didn't want to be average. I didn't want to like just settle and work at the hospital. Like
Gotcha.
I didn't want to do that. And my personality is I like things to be done differently every day. Repetition blows my mind. And working in entertainment, it's so not the same every day. So why I kept going, it was just the hunger. I didn't want to let my family down. Like I know I had a lot of people riding on me. I'm the oldest of three. Well, sorry, the oldest of four. Oldest of four. And I just know I have my siblings looking up to me, and I know that's like huge. I set the standard because I am the oldest. So I wanted to make sure that I set a standard of something to achieve. Like I had like my cousins to look at to be like, okay, right, she did this, she did that, so okay, it is I can attain a degree, I can do it because I've had examples. So I just wanted to be an example. And then it was always my mom's voice of like, you're not going to embarrass this family, like you're not going to embarrass us. So the why was I wanted to just be something. I wanted to be great. Like I didn't want to be average. I knew I had this gift. I knew I had these ideas. I didn't want to be basic. So the why was, I knew it was a bigger picture, a bigger plan. And it was my job to figure out what that was.
Okay, that's exciting. Like, I mean, when I listen to your why, that definitely puts me into what really kept you going. I know you said free, like you had to eat. Like everybody got to eat. So obviously that was to, keep your money going. But how can you encourage us? Because I've watched you on different shows. I've watched you sing the anthem. I've watched you, cast different shows. And I'm just like, how does he keep going when he's tired? Like, where does his peace come from? They always say stay motivated, you got purpose, you got this what you do. Right. But when you in that quiet time, when it's just you in that four walls, something went weird, you didn't get the contract you thought you was going to get, or how do you stay motivated? Like, that's a part of the how and the what. Like, what keeps you going?
Well, for me, definitely faith in God, like for sure. Like I take no credit of my own of where I'm at, of my success. I just make it to following scripture, being obedient. I think it's in Habakkuk. I don't know it exactly, but scripture says, write the vision, make it plain. So just, staying focused and having a plan, having a goal. On the way here, me and my sister were just talking about a 10-year plan. Like, instead of having a good year, I always say, make it a good 10 years. Because we don't think about it. A year flies by. Absolutely. Like, you can accomplish stuff in a year, but it's really a 10-year plan that really will set your whole life up. Absolutely. What you do in 10 years will really change, what your next 10 years look like. So true. I encourage a lot of people not only to, like, oh, well, I want to do this month. I want to start this month. Think about it in the future. Like a lot of people, especially in our culture, we don't think like long term. We're like, okay, if I could just make it to next month and I'll be all right.
Exactly, but it makes a difference.
It definitely makes a difference.
Prioritizing definitely makes a difference.
Definitely does. So I think for me, of course, my faith in God and just, staying focused, knowing what I want, but still trying to stay in line with his purpose for me and just always praying. I always think back, I was valedictorian of my class of grad school and I was like, how in the world did that happen? Yes. But I thought that and I was like, I prayed before every assignment. I made sure I was consistent with everything I did. So just making sure I put God at the first, seeking his kingdom first. Right. And seek ye first the kingdom of God and all these other things will be added unto you.
Yes. So I'm just I hear that the word is all in them.
Literally. Just, staying focused.
Yes.
Right. Staying focused and knowing like, okay, this is what I want. Like, this is what I want. But Lord, is this what you have for me? Is this a part of the plan? Because I'm at a point in my career and it's so crazy. Me and my sister were just talking about this. She was like, well, what's your 5-year plan? I was like, to be honest, I need to go back to the drawing table.
Yes, it's okay to go back to the drawing board. You hear that?
I've accomplished everything that I want to do and I'm only in 4 years. Right. So it's like, dang, dream bigger. Like, I always encourage people to dream bigger. Like, yes. I never, like, my 5-year goal was to secure a position in Hollywood. I work in Hollywood. Move to LA. I'm there. Get a car. I'm there. Like, just basic stuff that seems so far away. Right. It's really that close if you just focus, you network with the right people, you put it on paper.
Absolutely.
I'm huge of putting things on paper.
Yes.
I make to-do lists every day. Like, with the 10-year goal plan, like I was saying, break it down into, tangible goals that you can, knock out. Like for me, one of my whole things was starting my company, which I do have a bunch of believers, LLC. And I wanted to, start my company where I was able to edit videos. But of course, like my 10-year plan is, okay, start my company. Right. But what does that consist
That's my favorite right there.
What does it consist of?
True.
Like, okay, I have to file for the LLC. I have to get a website. I have to, find clients. So it's breaking down your big goal, but chopping it down into little pieces and putting it on paper will definitely help. Hopefully that made sense. I feel like
that made total sense. I mean, it's very encouraging because as you brought in our culture, we as people, I know my audience is mixed, but I definitely am proud of who I am. And I say that to say, we as people, we don't like to write things down. Yeah. We, don't like to read. We've talked about that in one of my podcasts. But far as writing things down, it is necessary. I was one that was definitely guilty of that. Yeah. And when I started writing things down, it made a difference in my life because just that pop-up, I actually started doing mine digital because I couldn't read my own handwriting, y'all.
That's me.
So don't get upset if you can't read your own handwriting.
Right. Put it somewhere.
Put it in your phone. Right. I actually use Google, what's it called? I use Google
Docs.
The chat, not chat.
Okay.
The
Hangouts.
What is the map? The calendar. Google Calendar. And it actually gives you an alarm. So
nice.
All day, because I'm a single mom on top of it, so all day those things pop up.
Right.
So as Kisan has mentioned, writing things down will keep you focused on your purpose, because the whole idea of us having this conversation is to show you that you can do it, and you don't have to be necessarily known by the world, but you can be known by those people that you impact, because Kisan probably had no idea how much of an inspiration he is in my life, because I've watched him conquer everything that he just said that he was going to do. Yeah. But, coming from Charlottesville, Virginia, you don't have a lot of that. You may have your people at UVA. You may have, your athletes and different people of different cultures that may accomplish things. Yes, we have some other famous people that, we may have heard of or known, but I like to highlight those people that are living their dreams and living their life on purpose. And it's not necessarily where everybody knows. Now, everybody might know him one day, but I ain't taking that from his life. That might be part of his 5-10-year plan. Right. But I speak that he is living his dream and he's living his purpose, and he's been one of my motivators, and he hasn't even known it. But that's why I had to have you here to share, your whys, your whats, your hows, and giving those words of encouragement to a group of people that are fighting for their purpose. They want to know and where to go and how to grow, and it's exciting to know that you can change your life any day. You don't have to stay where you were to get somewhere else. You just have to make a decision. Right. So I say all that to say, when you change over, even though I know that you are still recording a gospel artist and you are still a producer, but how do you mix the two? Because they're both forms of media. Yeah. But how do you put both of your passions and take action? Did you have to stick to singing first, then do the producing, or do the producing? You get what I'm saying?
Yeah,
as far as the order?
I get what you're saying. And I often say this a lot. We live in a culture where society will try to fit you in a box. There's a saying, you're a jack of all trades, but a master of none. However, I don't think that's true in today's day and age. I live in LA, so in order to survive, you have to have multiple streams of income. Awesome. So, and I don't say streams because streams are small. I say multiple rivers because rivers are huge. However, for me, it's very interesting. And even when people find out that I sang from it's weird because I have two sets of groups. So I have my quote unquote fans who love the music that I put out, that don't know I work in television. And then I have my television family who's like, wait, are you this, like, you're a singer too? Like, wait, oh my God, like, what's going on? So for me, it's just time management. Like, I do a lot. I'm faithful in my church. I sing, I lead with worship at my church. Like she said, I'm a recording artist. I gig. So just balancing. For me, thankfully now with COVID, I can work from home. So it's easier to kind of prioritize my time. So it's just more so finding a show that I want to work on that fits within my lifestyle. Thankfully, I'm at a place in life professionally where I don't have to take the entry level bottom barrel type of jobs.
Oh, okay, I get what you're saying.
So I can kind of be,
which brings up a good point. That brings up a good point. What did you do when you were at those entry levels? Like, how did you stay encouraged? Like, because it wasn't what you wanted to do, but it was what you were getting to,
For me, I knew it was a part of the plan. I knew it was a part of, like, everybody has to, like, I work in television. So, like, everybody has to start with production assistants. Like, I was just so thankful. I think what kept me was just being thankful, knowing that television is a competitive industry, and coming all the way from Virginia to LA, like, it's two totally different styles of thinking, two totally different styles of people. East Coast and West Coast is just totally different.
It's a different life.
It's totally different. So, it took me, my hunger of knowing, like, look, I cannot fail. Like, failure was not an option for me.
I like that.
I wasn't coming back
Absolutely.
home. I'm big on, completing things that I said I'm going to do. So it was more so myself, and of course God, just, like, all right, Lord, like, I can't keep doing this. No, I know what you told me.
Right.
I know what I've worked hard for. I put that I'm moving to LA on paper. I put it on paper.
Absolutely.
I said what job I want. Like, I'm doing everything you required of me. Now I need you to come on in and, make something work.
Absolutely.
However, it just I was hungry of knowing that, like, this is just the beginning. Like, even now, I'm nowhere near where I want to be. I'm only 4 years in, and I'm nowhere near where I want to be. Like, I'm still at the very, very entry of my career.
Right, but it's that hunger that keeps you motivated, that keeps you going. So when nobody else is motivating you, when nobody else is telling you you got this, that has to come from within. That I'm hungry and I gotta eat. I gotta eat physically and I have to eat mentally, because a part of living on purpose, you have to feed your spirit. Like, you have to do what you're called to do, or you're gonna constantly be in that indecisive, irritated, frustrated. Nobody's upset if you do your regular 9 to 5, because that's got to pay your current bills. Or Kisan can probably speak on that. He's probably taking jobs he didn't want just to eat. However, he made time to fulfill his purpose.
And that is so true. Like, I remember when I first got to LA, I was so poor. Oh my God. Like, fresh out of college, I had worked that whole summer. Like, I did so many jobs that summer, and I always tell people, it's not like a 9 to 5. I think a lot of people get, like, 9 to 5s get looked down on, but it's no problem with a 9 to 5 while you're doing what it is that you want to do. Right. Like, for me, the summer I had just graduated, I think May 2017, moved back to Virginia. I was working at a hard cidery. I was cleaning people's houses. I was working at a bookstore. I was doing so much to save enough money to move to LA. And then when I got to LA, my first job, I was an office production assistant. And I think minimum wage in LA, and it's another thing, you have to do your research, because moving to LA, I'm thinking like, oh, minimum wage is $15 an hour.
Right.
It was not. It was $10.79.
Wow. So know where you going.
Know where you're going.
Know where
Definitely
you going.
Do your research.
Don't just be talking.
Definitely do your research. So I got an entry-level position. I was so thankful, but I didn't have a vehicle at the time. I had my car here. So my check was going towards, I was basically working to work. If that makes sense. So in that time of working to work, I took tip jobs. Like, I worked at office buildings. I did a lot in LA to, make sense of, just to survive. And then thankfully now, television is so up and down. I don't even know if a lot of people know this. So, like, shows used to, like, film 3 months. Now shows are filming like 3 weeks. So it's not like you get on one show and then boom, we're going to put you to something else. Now, some companies do that. However, majority don't. Like, most shows are like independent companies. They're independent productions. So when one show ends, you have to find another show. So sometimes it's downtime. Oh, wow. And thank God, I always tell people. Wow. Yeah, I always tell people, always have a plan A, B, and C. Because, I mean, yes, we have unemployment, but that's not guaranteed. Like, you have to always I'd never be above getting a temp. Always register with temp agencies because they'll always and have great relationships as well as you are in the work field. Thankfully, I haven't had to do like a temp agency job because I keep great relationships with the people with certain shows. So I'm like, hey, what's your name? Like, remember
That's
me? Like,
smart. He talked about that networking. Yes, that is smart.
To network, especially in television, it's all networking. It's all in who you know, who knows you, and who likes you. That's a huge thing. Who likes you? Because we're like, oh, I know him. But it can be like, oh, he was a horrible worker. He was lazy.
Right,
but
you know what that?
You need people to like you. And I'm not saying like, oh my God, if you're not liked, you're not going to get, work. But it definitely does help when people do like you. So just, I don't even remember what we were saying.
As far as what kept you going.
Okay.
But as you say that, it took me to another place.
Okay.
Because we're here just having a conversation to encourage everyone. I'm excited because he actually had the time to get to VA to talk with MsLalexis. Yay! So I say that to say, when you were talking about networking and not just talking to anybody, make sure the people that you network with and follow up with are people that you associate yourself with. That is not just for the film and media industry. Right. That can be for anyone. If you're getting in your purpose and you're changing your life, you need to network with those that are already doing it. Or if you don't have, or get the education or take classes or read the books, there's basically no excuses when it comes to changing your life and walking in your purpose. If you know what you want to do and God has showed you what you're supposed to be doing in your life, you have to start taking those steps and make no excuses for it, because we have a living witness here today expressing all that he has done, and he's still moving to where he wants to go, and that's going to be you. You may not be where you want to be, but one day you're going to be in his shoes and you're going to be living in your purpose. However, it doesn't stop there. Mm-hmm. And that's, what I'm getting a lot from your experience. And it's very motivating because, as I always say, we're winning together. MsLalexis is still learning different things, and he's a producer, so I'm definitely doing my networking today, y'all. So I say all that to say, of course, I guess I'm going to just ask you a bonus question because we weren't going to be, before you guys long. This was just a pop-up to motivate you to know that you can live your dreams. It can be done. You can do it. But just for a little bit of our culture, how is it working in your purpose, being a Black man? How do you feel with all that's going on today? Not to get too political, but just how do you feel?
Honestly, okay, I'm kind of weird. So let me do a little backtrack. So, back to your first question. But to answer your first question, so I went to Virginia State University for undergrad for mass communications, and my concentration was film. Virginia State University is a HBCU. So from there, that's where I learned to, accept my Blackness, love myself, how to be Black in the workforce, and how to be unapologetically Black and not try to, mesh a culture, quote unquote, via Oreo.
Right. I like that.
In society. So I'm thankful for that. Now, when I went to Full Sail for my master's degree, Full Sail University is a PWI. So it's a predominantly white institution. So they kind of taught me more so the business side of things and how to use being an African American to my advantage, especially in today's time. Right. So I was thankful for both. So I said that to say, I've worked in television in Los Angeles as well as Atlanta. Atlanta is completely Black. I love working in Atlanta. It's my people. It feels like home. Right. Working in LA, Hollywood, because LA is like majority like Hispanic, but it's a melting pot of everything. But it's still majority. Majority. It's still majority Caucasian in the Hollywood industry because Hollywood is majority Caucasian.
Right, exactly.
I remember I was working on this one show. I'm not going to say the name of it, but I was the only African American in the entire building.
The entire
building. Something just told me, and this was 2018 or 19.
What? That's not even under 10 years.
In Hollywood, on a popular studio. I just told me to look around, and I was like, wait a second. I'm the only black person in this entire building. And I said something. I did. I said something. I said, I remember I walked up to the director and I was like, excuse me, you don't know me. And like, I probably should not even be talking to you. I was like at the bottom. I wasn't the bottom, but I was like one step up. I was like, I probably shouldn't even be talking to you. However, I was like, do you notice anything? And he was like, no, like, what do you mean? Wow. He was like, hurry up, get to the point. I was like, I'm the only African American in this entire production. And I noticed, I was like, when you go back on set, just look.
Absolutely.
Just take a look. It takes a lot. See. So when I came back the next season, they had one mixed girl. But listen.
They added some color.
They added something. So being African American in Hollywood, I do find myself sometimes, you know, I'm not gonna lie, I do find myself sometimes not being as black or changing the way I speak.
Gotcha.
Which it does help.
Right.
It definitely does help. But it depends on the show. Certain shows I can be unapologetically me, and then other shows I'm just like, all right, let me keep it cute. Let me not do too much. But that goes with, you know, filling out your area. You have to know your boss. You have to know the community of people that you're working within.
Right. Know your environment.
Know your environment. Sure. Like absolutely. I remember when the George Floyd thing happened, and
oh my goodness,
I was one. I don't know if there's, and I could be wrong. There's not a lot of African American men in casting right now.
Really?
I'm maybe one of 10.
Wow.
If that is even, it could be more, it could be less. At least in Los Angeles.
Right.
However, I'm thankful for my company I work for because they took a chance, and they are, you know, not everybody's like, oh, we just want to be white. No, there are some companies who are in, you know, looking for those hires. So I will say, it just depends. I haven't had to be too quote unquote Oreo.
Right.
However, I mean, I try to be myself where I'm at.
You're going to be yourself wherever you are.
But it does. Yeah. It is a little challenging as far as moving up in certain places. I always wonder, like, I wonder if I was white, would I already be XYZ? But you can never know because I'm not white. And I do feel like you have to work a little harder.
Right.
And that may not be factual, but I do feel like that. But that's not just in television. That's in every aspect of life. Just because of our nation's history. And most people are not racist.
No,
but
not.
It's just the way you were brought up, and some people don't know.
Exactly.
And some people aren't aware that, you know, that maybe they shouldn't have said that, or maybe, you know, they could have said this differently, or maybe, you know, most people don't know. And it's your job as African American to educate people who don't know, because you cannot assume that everyone knows. And that's something that I learned at Virginia State. Every person you meet does not know. So it's your job to educate a person. And I'm thankful for the you know, relationships I have in Hollywood, because I have been able to educate a lot of people on, you know, you maybe shouldn't say that, or maybe shouldn't, you know, refer to it like that, because that can be taken offensive. However, it's a learning process, and I think for me it's been an advantage. I mean, it's no other greater time to work in Hollywood and being black than right now.
Absolutely.
Especially with everything going on where it's kind of popular to be black right now. So, for me, it's been an advantage. I don't think I've missed up any opportunities because of my skin color.
Right.
And if I have, another opportunity has came just like that. So.
Absolutely. Yeah. Well, that's definitely exciting. And, you know, like your song, Get Up, you gotta just stay focused. You have to stay encouraged. Again, you guys, make sure you check out his music. You can find his link tree. It's /Keeson. And I'll also leave all of his contact information in the description. And you all will be able to find him there. He also has another song that's one of my favorites, is Love You, and it's amazing. You can be in a bad mood, and you play that song, and you think about your love to the Father, and you're like, yes! Right. So, I thank you, Keeson, again for your time. Thank you for your words of encouragement. And, you know, as he just mentioned about being black, whatever you do, don't make that your excuse. Make that your opportunity, because, you know, with my background in the corporate world, you have to not see color all the time, because we sometimes as people, we do choose to see color instead of choosing to just be confident. Mm-hmm. And you have to allow yourself to separate yourself from your color and allow yourself to know who you are, because it's not always a color barrier. It's sometimes that insecure place within us where we're like, I see color, does everybody else? Because some people don't see it. And like he did mention about LA, the dynamics being different, it's not always a color barrier. It's all on how you carry yourself. And, if you know that that's your passion, whatever field it is, because a lot of times when we do change our life, we may be the minority in that bracket. But you can't let that hinder you either. So, again, I thank you for your time watching. I thank you, Keesan, for visiting.
Thanks for having me.
And we're going to see him again, y'all. Hopefully.
Yes.
So, all right. I just want to say, if you're not having a good day, let's start having a good day on purpose. Let's start right now. It's okay. I don't know what you may be going through, but I hope that this has encouraged you. Don't give up. If you're hungry, if you're looking at your money and it's looking funny, understand that your purpose is going to push you. You gotta allow that to push you. So, good day.
Low like the deepest valley, low like the sea floor. How you gave your life for me, the ultimate sacrifice. My words are the least that I can give while I share Christ. Daily you provide me with favor and new mercies. Even though I don't deserve it, you still choose to bless me. I'm singing. Oh, how I love you. I love you. I love you. Send your son for me, didn't have to die for me, but you gave him willfully. Wasn't selfish, but now I see.